Today we are going to discuss about mechanical equivalent of heat by electrical method. In this experiment, we will try to find out the equivalence between heat and energy. We will try to find out that 1 calorie of heat is equal to how many joules of energy. We know 1 calorie of heat is equal to 4.185 joules. We'll try to find out this conversion factor between joules and calories. So the mechanical equivalent of heat is 4.185 joules per calorie. In order to do this experiment, we will use an electrical method, and that is why this VIT, V for voltage, I for current and T for time will give you the energy which you are getting from an electrical setup. This energy will be used up in heating water which is placed inside a beaker. M stands for the water, the mass of the water. C is the specific heat of water, and delta theta is the temperature rise. In order to determine this temperature rise, we will try to find out the temperature, final temperature minus initial temperature. So we will first find the initial temperature and then the final temperature after the time t. And so this particular expression will be in joules and this particular expression will be in calories, and from there we will try to get an equivalence between joules and calories. That is the mechanical equivalent of heat. Now, so the circuit would be as shown in this diagram. It can be done in many ways. You can choose a plastic jar, put water in the jar and put some ink to make this jar translucent, so that to avoid heat loss due to radiation. Precautions has already been taken in the setup to avoid heat loss due to conduction. This is to ensure that whatever heat is given by the electrical method is used up only in heating the water in the beaker. There are other setups also where we use a copper beaker and we don't use any kind of ink. We put water in a copper beaker and whatever energy we are providing to the water through the electrical method will be used up in heating this water, and some energy will pass on to the copper beaker also where the water is contained due to radiation, and the copper beaker will also heat up. If it is almost filled with water, the copper beaker is almost filled with water, then the temperature rise will be similar as in case of water. So in that case we will use a modified expression, and that expression is VIT. This is the electrical energy, and that will be used up in heating water. We use a suffix to represent that this M is the mass of water, C specific heat of water, and the rise in temperature of the water, plus mass of the copper beaker, specific heat of copper, and the same temperature rise which you have seen in case of water. You can use any other beaker also. In that case, that will be this, you have to take the specific heat of that particular material. So as far as the circuit is seen, I can simplify the circuit. So if you look into the circuit, we need a power supply. We need a power supply like this, and we have to limit the current of the power supply, so we use a rheostat. We take a rheostat In order to measure the amount of current in the circuit, we use an ammeter, and we then pass on this to the heating element, which is, this heating element is dipped in a copper beaker filled with water. You have a thermometer to measure the temperature of this water contained in the beaker, and the potential is measured by putting a voltmeter across the heating element. This is the electrical circuit you have to design to do this particular experiment. As you see, there are 4 variables. Voltage is one variable, current is another variable, time is a variable, and this temperature rise is another variable. Mass of water and mass of copper is also a variable, but these 2 variables remains constant throughout the experiment, so we don't have to worry. Specific heat of water and specific heat of copper are constants. As it is very much difficult to do experiments with so many variables, so a better way is to make some of the variables constant, and that we can do. We can make voltage constant throughout the experiment, current constant throughout the experiment, and we will measure the time, we will measure increase in temperature with respect to time. So now we had only 2 variables to be monitored throughout the experiment in order to do this particular experiment. We monitor the rise in temperature as a function of time. This rheostat, with the help of this rheostat, we limit the current to a known value, constant value, let's say 1 ampere. Corresponding to this 1 ampere in the circuit, there will be a voltage develop, and that will depend on the resistance of the heating element. So this V and this I is constant, and we monitor the rise in temperature with the help of a thermometer and time with the help of a stopwatch. This is how we can do the experiment, and we can determine the mechanical equivalent of heat. We now see the actual experimental setup and procedure involved in the experiment in our laboratory. These are the following apparatus we require to do this experiment. We need a weighing balance, which we use to measure weights of this beaker with and without water. This beaker is made up of copper, can also be made up of other material like aluminium. A calorimeter box to avoid heat losses, and a heating element, a power supply, a voltmeter, an ammeter, a thermometer, a stopwatch, and a rheostat. Experiment, what we will do is, we will first weigh this empty beaker with the help of this weighing balance. We then fill this beaker with water and then weigh it again. When we subtract both the weights, we get the mass of water filled inside the beaker. Then we put this filled beaker, or the beaker filled with water, inside this calorimeter box, and we put the heating element into it. Then we take the thermometer, record first the room temperature, and then put it inside the beaker through this slot. The placement of this thermometer plays a very important role in determining the accuracy of this experiment. The thermometer bulb should not come very close to the heating element. At the same time, this bulb should be sufficiently dipped inside water, and that is the reason this beaker should be almost filled with water, so that this bulb should be completely dipped inside water, and this bulb is sufficiently away from the heater, so that it should not this, if it comes very close to this heater, the rise in temperature will be very fast, and if you keep this bulb almost above the water level, then the temperature of the water recorded will be false. So in order to avoid these situations, these precautions has to be taken. Then what we do is we give power to this heater or heating element through these two. We put wires connected to this power supply through a rheostat. So the idea behind this is, what we are doing is we are giving power energy to the heater through this power supply as VIT, V for voltage, which we record with the help of this voltmeter, I for current, which we record with the help of this ammeter, and T for time, which we record with the help of this stopwatch. Now whatever heat energy we are giving to this water inside the beaker should be used up in heating the water inside the beaker. So the temperature of the water will rise, and we record that temperature at regular intervals, let's say at an interval of 0.5 degrees. Whatever heat from the heating element will first go into water, will heat the copper beaker also. So we have to take precaution of the copper beaker also. So the formula which should be used is this: whatever heat input to the system, that is VIT, should be given as mc theta, where m is the mass of water in the beaker, plus m mass of mc theta for copper, because here theta is the temperature difference, and from there, if you know V, if you know I, if you know T, we can find out. So we know what is the energy being supplied, that is in joules, and whatever mc theta we are getting, that will be in calories, and we get a mechanical equivalent of heat through this experiment. We have now 4 variables. First is this voltage, second is the current, third is the temperature, and the fourth is the time. So we have to record voltage and current, temperature, all with respect to time. Of course, it will be a very tedious job to keep a record of all these parameters with respect to time. As such, what we do is we keep this current and voltage fixed in the circuit, and we record this temperature as a function of time. That will make our experiment very easy. So this is the experimental setup. We had made connections. So when we switch on the power supply, you can see the connections now. The positive end of the power supply goes to one of the fixed end of a rheostat. The variable end of the rheostat goes to an ammeter. Then the other end of the ammeter goes to one end of the heating element. The negative end of the heating element then goes back to the negative end of the power supply. We also put a voltmeter in parallel to this heating element. This is the circuit. So you can see we have given some power. We can adjust this rheostat value by shifting this knob, and when we shift it, you can see the current and the voltage values changes. As I said, what we will do is we will try to keep V and A constant throughout the experiment. So we adjust the rheostat value so that we get 1 ampere current in the circuit, like this. And for corresponding to this 1 ampere current, we get a voltage output. We record this V and I, and this remains constant throughout the experiment. Then We, with the help of this stopwatch, we wait and see how the temperature is increasing in the thermometer. For every increase of 0.5 degrees, we record the time with the help of this stopwatch. We do it till a temperature rise of 2 degrees centigrade, and then we switch off the power, allow the water to cool. In the same manner, we record the temperature fall of the water in the beaker with respect to time at an interval of 0.5 degrees. So we will get a reading of temperature versus time, and from there we will make our calculations to find the mechanical equivalent of heat. This is what is the demonstration of mechanical equivalent of heat by electrical method. Thank you.